South Carolina has to travel to Ole Miss after that heartbreaking loss versus Alabama. In order for Ole Miss to win this game, they have to generate pressure on Lenore Sellers. Lenore Sellers had almost 300 yards by himself versus that talented Bama defense. Sellers did this by utilizing what the defense gave him, stepping up and running out of the pocket when he needed to, and not forcing too many balls into bad windows. Lenore Sellers is a talented quarterback, and if this improved Ole Miss defense can't contain him, then they should win this game. Another key to Ole Miss winning this game is that they have to defend the run better. Ole Miss in their past two games have given up 116 and 221 yards on the ground to Georgia and Oklahoma. While Oklahoma and Georgia might have two of the better rushing attacks in the SEC, South Carolina knows how to run the ball well. If Ole Miss can stop the run versus South Carolina, then they should win this game. In order for South Carolina to win this game, they have to continue to utilize all the wide receivers / tight ends. In their most recent game, South Carolina had only one passing touchdown, and none of their receivers broke past 70 yards. Alabama's defense is talented, and they were able to shut down this already bad passing attack. Ole Miss's defense is just as talented, and if South Carolina can utilize the pass by even giving their receivers little 3-yard games, then they should win. Another key to South Carolina winning this game is for them to stop the passing attack. In the past two Ole Miss games, they've had 578 total passing yards against two of the better defenses in the SEC. Ole Miss has utilized its offense in order to score with ease. If South Carolina can stop the passing attack, then they should win this game. Ole Miss is the better team, and I think South Carolina the effort will be a lot worse than it was against Bama. I don't think they'll get up for this game, and I think Ole Miss wins with ease 31-13. USC has to travel to Nebraska in a game that will eliminate one of these teams from Big Ten title contention. In order for Nebraska to win this game, they have to stop USC's passing attack. USC is averaging 326 passing yards per game, which is number one in the entire country. Nebraska only allows 127 passing yards per game, which is second in the nation. In order for Nebraska to win this game, they have to force USC to run the ball, and USC will have to beat them on the ground or make a ton of mistakes. Another key to Nebraska winning this game is for them to establish the run. Nebraska ranks 101st in the nation in rushing yards per game. USC's defense is allowing 137 yards per game on the ground. If Nebraska can establish even moderate success running the ball, it will help USC's high-powered offense off the field, and it will reduce the pressure rate. In order for the USC to win this game, they have to continue to convert on third down. They've converted on third downs 53% of the time, and if they can continue this against Nebraska, then they should be able to win this game. Another key to USC winning this game is for them to not have any penalties. They have about 58 yards per game in average penalties, and this is one of the worst in the nation. If USC cannot make any / less mistakes, then they will be able to win this game. I think that USC takes advantage of the rest they receive with the bye week, and they should win this game in a close one, 27-21. Georgia versus Florida is one of the best rivalry games in the SEC, and even though it hasn't meant much recently, it should be a good one on Saturday. In order for Florida to win this game, they have to limit the time of possession. Georgia ranks 9th in the entire nation on time of possession, averaging 33 minutes per game. This means that Georgia will try to run the ball on you and try to make your defense as tired as possible so they can eventually give up and start losing energy. If Florida can continue to get stops and limit this prolific offense from getting on the field, then they should be able to win this game. Another key to Florida winning this game is for them to be able to score on Georgia. Honestly, this Georgia defense isn't that good this year, but it doesn't matter because the Florida offense has been horrific so far, averaging 22.4 points per game, which is one of the worst scoring rates in the country. If they can find out what works on offense, then Florida should be able to win this game. In order for Georgia to win this game, they have to be able to stop Florida when they get to the red zone. Florida scores on 95% of their trips in the red zone if they actually get there, which means that whenever sustained drives come their way, Florida knows how to take advantage. If Georgia can stop Florida from scoring touchdowns and force some field goals, then they should win this game. Another key to Georgia winning this game is to get some stops. We saw against Ole Miss that on their first 5 drives, Georgia didn't get a stop. And even though this is a prolific offense, Kirby Smart still wants to play defense. And in a couple of these games, like the Tennessee versus Ole Miss one, the focus has shifted from a somewhat defensive battle to an offensive shootout. Florida has one of the worst third down rates in the country, only converting on 32% of their third downs. If Georgia can get some stops against Florida, then they could win this game. I think that Georgia is the much better team, and I don't think it will be like last year where it was close at first. but Georgia pulled away late. I think Georgia starts fast and beats Florida 30-7. Virginia has to travel to California to take on a Golden Bears team that's coming off a loss to a bad Virginia Tech team. In order for Cal to win this game, they need to establish the run. Cal has one of the worst rushing attacks in the nation, running for only 88 yards per game. This California offense is going up against a Virginia defense who is pretty good at stopping the run, as their rushing defense in terms of yards ranks 41st in the country. In order for Cal to win this game, they have to somehow establish a run, and even when the run isn't working, you shouldn't just heavily rely on passing the ball. Instead, you should continue to run the ball. Another key to Cal winning this game is for them to have no penalties. First of all, this is a home game for Cal, so going up against an opposing crowd shouldn't be a challenge. Cal ranks 92nd in the country for total amount of penalty yards per game, averaging 60. In order for Cal to win this game, they have to play clean, mistake-free football. In order for Virginia to win this game, they need to have Chandler Morris make better decisions. In the North Carolina game, you can see multiple instances where Chandler Morris threw the ball into terrible windows that resulted or almost resulted in interceptions. Also versus Florida State, even though they won, he still had 3 interceptions. I get it, sometimes you want to chuck the ball up for whoever is down there, but Virginia needs Morris to be that smart, experienced quarterback they brought him in for. In order for Virginia to win this game, they also need to continue to stop opponents on third down. Cal ranks 81st in the country in third down percentage, while Virginia ranks 9th on third down stoppage percentage. This is one of the best offenses Virginia will see all season, and if they can make Cal continue to struggle on third down, then they should be able to win. As much as my gut wants to go with Cal, I know it's not a smart pick after that bad Virginia Tech loss. Give me Virginia to win 34-27. Texas Tech has to travel to a red-hot Kansas State team on Saturday in what could be a tricky game. In order for Kansas State to win this game, they have to stop Texas Tech from scoring. I know it sounds like an obvious key, but this is important because Texas Tech has one of the best offenses in the country, averaging 44 points per game, while ranking 4th in total offense, 12th in total passing offense, and 27th in total rushing offense in the entire country. If Kansas State can get consistent stops versus the Red Raiders, which will be hard, then they'll be able to win this game. Another key to Kansas State winning this game is for them to protect the ball. Kansas State's strong turnover margin has been key to their recent success, but now they're going up against one of the best turnover-creating teams in the country. If Kansas State can protect the ball and not make dumb decisions, then they should win this game. A key to Texas Tech winning this game is for them to not allow Kansas State to convert on third down. Kansas State is one of the worst teams in the nation when it comes to converting on third downs, converting on only 37.5% of them. Texas Tech needs to lean on this already strong defense in order to get some stops and win this game. Another key to Texas Tech winning this game is for them to not have any penalties. Texas Tech is averaging 63 yards per game in terms of penalties, and this place will be on fire Saturday. If Texas Tech can play a clean, consistent game, then they should be able to win. I think Texas Tech is just the overall better team, and I think they should win this game convincingly 30-16. Miami has to travel to SMU for its first game out of the state this season. In order for Miami to win this game, they have to have no turnovers. As we all know, Carson Beck can be a turnover machine as he threw 4 interceptions versus Louisville and 2 versus USF, which is USF doesn't have a good defense. We also saw that when Miami doesn't turn the ball over in games like Stanford and Notre Dame, we have more consistent offensive drives. SMU has a much better offense, in my opinion, than Florida and Louisville, and they will take advantage of turnovers if they can come their way. Another key to Miami winning this game is to continue to establish the run. Miami must get its ground game going early on to keep SMU's defense off the field and drain their energy. If Miami leans on the pass, then they can have turnovers, which are horrible. In order for SMU to win this game, they must also not have any turnovers. Their offense looked horrible versus Wake Forest last week, and a major part of that was the 5 turnovers they had. If they had the same type of performance versus Miami, then they will lose this game. Another key for SMU to beat Miami is for them to get some stops. We saw in the first half of the Miami versus Stanford game, Miami's offense couldn't get going because Stanford got some stops. They forced Miami to run the ball, which took a large part off the clock, and even though forcing Miami to run the ball didn't work in the end, they still forced Miami's offense into a funk. If they can do something similar, then they should be able to win this game. In my opinion, Miami will struggle at first. Cincinnati has to go into Salt Lake City for a key Big 12 game versus Utah. In order for Utah to win this game, they have to stop Cincinnati from scoring touchdowns on their red zone trips. Cincinnati's offense is fourth in scoring in the red zone, converting on 97% of the touchdowns when they get down there. Utah needs to generate pressure on Cincinnati, and they need to use their physical defensive line to back Cincinnati up and force them to make field goals. Another key to Utah winning this game is for them to win in the rushing attack. Utah has one of the best rushing offenses in the nation, averaging 267 yards per game. This leads to them having a huge advantage in the time of possession. A key to Cincinnati winning this game is for them to play clean football. They're averaging 71.5 yards per game in penalties, and this place is going to be loud when Cincinnati walks in there. If Cincinnati can follow the fundamentals, like everybody keeping up with the snap count, then they could win this game. Another key to Cincinnati winning this game is to continue to have success on RPOs. Cincinnati has a high scoring offense with a 19-1 touchdown to interception ratio because Brennan Sorsby has been efficient and has learned not to force the ball into tight windows. If Cincinnati wants to win this game, they have to find success with the RPO game. I think Utah has a better defense. I think it'll be hard for Cincinnati to handle this road environment and score consistently. Give me Utah to win 25-17. Georgia Tech is going into a tough road environment on Saturday in Raleigh. In order for NC State to win this game, they have to stop Georgia Tech on third down. NC State is 114th in third down percentage, allowing opponents to convert 43.8% of the time. Georgia Tech's offense ranks 16th in the entire nation in terms of third down percentage. If NC State can get some third down stops by generating pressure and forcing Haynes King to throw the ball more than running the ball, then they should win this game. Another key to NC State winning this game is to limit the Yellow Jackets' big plays. Georgia Tech has a ton of playmakers like Isaiah Cannon, Eric Rivers, and Malik Rutherford in the receiving game, and players like Haynes King, Jamal Haynes, and Malachi Hosley in the running attack. All of these players have been productive because Haynes King, Jamal Haynes, and Malachi Hosley all have more than 400 rushing yards, and Isaiah Cannon, Eric Rivers, and Malik Rutherford all have 200-plus receiving yards. In order for NC State to win, they have to stop all of these weapons from scoring and dominating their defense. In order for Georgia Tech to win this game, they have to protect the football. NC State is 114th in the FBS with a negative turnover margin, and Georgia Tech's efficient offense will need to maintain its dominance while avoiding dumb turnovers. Another key to Georgia Tech winning this game is for them to continue to score consistently in the red zone. They rank 14th in the nation in red zone offense, and they need to continue to score consistently versus NC State in order to win this game. I think before I wrote this, I was convinced NC State was going to win, but as I wrote this prediction and saw the stats and really thought about it in my head, I think Georgia Tech should win with ease, 24-12. Vanderbilt has to travel to Texas on Saturday to take on the Longhorns. In order for Texas to win this game, they have to force Diego Pavia to pass the ball. In his last game versus a talented Missouri defense, he barely completed 50% of his passes with 129 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. If Texas's defense can do something similar to what Missouri did, then they should be able to win this game. Another key to Texas winning this game is for them to find some defensive consistency. In their last game versus Mississippi State, they gave up 38 points and 445 total yards of offense, and in their game versus Florida, they gave up 29 points, which is the second most points Florida's offense has scored all year. If Texas can keep Vanderbilt from scoring and going up and down the field on them, then they'll be able to win this game. A key to Vanderbilt winning this game is for them to sustain drives. Texas is 20th in the entire nation on defensive third down percentage, allowing opponents to convert on 31.5% of their third downs. If Vanderbilt can have sustained offensive drives, then they should be able to win this game. Another key to Vanderbilt winning this game is for them to have no turnovers. Texas has a plus 7-point differential, and this Longhorn defense thrives off turnovers. If Vanderbilt can play a clean game of football, and they should be able to win. Before I tell you who I think is going to win, I just want to say that I'm glad Texas is finally playing a home game, because that might have been one of the longest, at least it feels like, road tenures in CFB history lately. I think this is a coin flip type of game, and I think it could go either way, but I think Vanderbilt will win this game at Texas 27-24, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game was winning in overtime. Oklahoma has to travel to Tennessee for what's essentially a CFB elimination game. In order for Tennessee to win this game, they have to stop Oklahoma's strong red zone offense. Tennessee's defense has been very vulnerable in the red zone this season, giving up 38 to Mississippi State, 44 to Georgia, 31 to Arkansas, and 37 to Alabama. Tennessee is going up against an Oklahoma offense that's struggling to run the ball well, and they're 73rd in the country in points per game. If Tennessee can stop this Oklahoma offense that has struggled in the past few weeks, then they should be able to win this game. Another key to Tennessee winning this game is for them to continue to throw the ball well. Joey Aguilar has averaged 321 passing yards per game, and if they can have success versus this Oklahoma defense that is forcing opponents to only have 155 passing yards on them, then they should be able to win this game. A key to Oklahoma winning this game is to control the time of possession. Oklahoma has an average of 30 minutes per game in the time of possession, and as mentioned before, Tennessee doesn't have a good defense. If Oklahoma can control the time of possession by running the ball with success, then they should be able to wear down this Tennessee defense, and they should be able to score with ease, exposing Tennessee's already weak defense. Another key to Oklahoma winning this game is for them to limit mistakes. They have one of the worst turnover margins in the nation with a -6. This is a significant vulnerability to Tennessee's positive turnover differential. The Sooners cannot afford to lose the turnover battle, and they must find a way to finish drives in the red zone, where they should be able to win with ease. I think that Oklahoma is struggling badly right now with inconsistent offensive performance, and the defense is starting to let up as the year goes on. I think Tennessee wins this game closely, 33-30.